Hello and welcome back, everybody. This is Mr. Siege, and today I'm going to do some 5511 testing on my alt. And by 5511, I mean I'm going to test Margaret and Gauge Armada at 5511 paired with Cordoba. Unfortunately, my Cordoba is only at 5533. He's surpassed the 5511 range, but regardless, we're going to test anyway to see if Margaret paired with him at a lower skill value and Gauge paired with him is better. Find out who is going to be the best low investment for you free to play or new starters. And yeah, basically we'll find out from this video. I'm actually only going to run a really free to play set behind the Harvester set and then a crit siege weapon and siege gloves just standard, with a decent set of armaments, to be fair. I put out a mail this morning actually, and I asked the guys in my Kingdom 3069 if anyone could help me to do some testing. And to be honest, in the previous Kingdom, I never had any responses or extremely little. But even in the first couple of minutes, this Kingdom, I've had responses. They're so positive, and I'd like to say thank you to everyone who responded and offered their help today, because there have been at least 6 or 7 people, which is amazing. But Rias and Dutch joined me for the testing. I wanted 3 sets of meta marches, or at least pretty much in the meta, with their best equipment on, which I'll show you throughout the video. And obviously you can see behind now, I've got Gauge Armada to 5511, so ready to go. Did this recently. I'm hoping it's not a wasted investment, although I'm sure if we got new commanders, I'll be able to pair him with someone else at 5511. We'll have to see. So guys, stick around to watch the video and we'll get to the bottom of who is the best 5511 low investment in engineering. These are the armaments I'll be using behind, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and the help. So guys, before we crack on with it, I just wanted to show you my Gonzalo Cordoba is at 5533. I would have preferred this last skill to be at 5, but I'm sort of low on resets now, and I do want to try it again just in case I didn't get what I wanted. It could even be worse than this. I could get 5551, and yeah, I believe that would be worse, to be honest with you. So I'll be sending out my maximum March, which is 206,000. Obviously, I've only VIP 13, so I don't have the extra troop capacity at this point, which I don't expect to get anytime soon either. And then we're just going to take a look at Rias' March, aka Aura. So this is an Inf, so with William Wallace and Liu Che. And obviously, she's got decent gear. And then we've got Henry. I think Henry and Ash, or Henry Liang. You might not say he's meta, but good equipment here. And obviously we've got Nevsky Joan. Nevsky Joan maybe being pushed out of the meta soon, maybe in the next Cav release. We've been saying that for a long time now. So first of all, on this one, I'm going to focus the infantry commanders, William Wallace. And just going to do the same for both tests. We're going to try Margaret with Cordoba first, and then obviously we're trying Cordoba primary with Gauge Armada, because I haven't put the stars into Gauge Armada. It's a farm I honestly can't afford to waste stars on another commander. For some reason, I maxed Gonzalo. Well, not maxed Gonzalo. I maxed starred Gonzalo. Now, as you can see from Margaret, she does do a ton of AoE because of the 50% normal damage bonus. And as soon as she got into the yellow zone, I've pulled her away. So here we've got 8k to 18.7, nearly 19k. And okay, that's fine. We're obviously going through there. And we've got 3.8k AoE on that one and 3.8k AoE on that one. So we're doing AoE is doing a ton of damage. It's nearly doing as much as what it's doing to the actual target, to be honest. It's pretty crazy. Now, another thing I actually look at whilst doing these tests is how long the duration of the battle lasted. And this is 2 minutes 33 seconds. So it was fairly quick. It did a decent amount of damage in a small amount of time. As I was saying, his Gauge Armada, didn't want to put any more stars into him. It's very costly. I just can't afford that on my alt, and I may need them with the next engineering commanders when they come out, if they come out, of course. But just to show you, that's the gathering set again, the harvester set, and we're just swapping the equipment and armaments over to our consolidated Cordoba now to do the next test, basically. So let's crack on with the next test, and again, we're just going to target that William Wallace again with our Cordoba and Gauge Armada secondary. And this time, just going to see the results and see if it gets any better. Now, we do know that Garja is probably the better primary in terms of making the march have a longer sustain in the field. It does do a ton of damage as well. So Garja primary would be better. Um, just bear that in mind for this testing. But Cordoba does have the attack tree. It's fantastic for ranged combat. It does a ton of damage. And as you can see, William Wallace is getting pretty hurt here. Now, I wouldn't say that AoE is as strong looking at the other two marches. They don't seem to be getting hurt as much as what Margaret was doing. But we know that Margaret really, really buffs that Cordoba AoE. And it just caused it to do a ton of damage. But William Wallace is in the orange now. And obviously Cordoba is now, and he can go and return back to the city. And then we'll go and check the results and compare. Now, initially, this seems a fantastic result, 9.6k to 20k. It seems stronger than obviously what Margaret did. She did only 18k damage, well, severely wounded. But the problem is that Gonzalo and Garjamada, it took them 3 minutes 28 seconds compared to Margaret's 2 minutes 33 seconds. Now, that's an extra minute on the field it's taken to do that extra 2k severes. I know it's lasted longer in terms of the longevity, but it's not really doing the huge amount of damage we expect from them. And then it makes you wonder, is it really worth having Garja paired with Cordoba at 5511? I thought the heal would be OP and I thought it'd still do a ton of damage, but the heal's just making it last a bit longer and not really exerting the amount of damage we'd expect. So it's looking like Margaret would be the best bet. You're going to do a ton of damage over a small amount of time. And that's kind of what you want, especially for a farm. Just stick it out there, do a ton of damage, and return it back. I mean, some of these fights you'll be getting into, you may not have to be on the field that long anyway. You may have to move it about. You just want to try and get as much damage as possible over a small amount of time. Now, we do know that Margaret is also super mobile on the field. You can escape battle quite quickly, and that might be better on a farm as well. Now, there is one thing. I don't think Margaret and Cordoba will take a swarm quite as well because Garge's health is just ridiculous. So just looking at Deutsch's gear now, obviously she's going to use Nevsky. You've seen that equipment, Zhuge Liang. We're just running through it all so you can see exactly what they're using today. Meta marches, very good sets of equipment. This inf gear is not amazing, but it's okay, and you could easily come across it on the field with plenty of marches using this sort of equipment set. And here's the armaments. Again, okay, got a legendary inscription. Not too much to scream and shout about, but it's okay. Now, it doesn't matter too much in this one because this time we're going to focus on the archers. Okay, we're going to focus on that Zhuge Liang. And first of all, we're going to use Cordoba Gauge Armada. Again, you can see that AoE isn't doing as much damage as what you'd expect it to do. The Margaret March really does pump out the AoE. And if there's weaker marches around this main march that you're catching, you're going to do a lot more damage to those. Obviously, these are pretty much meta marches. They're still vastly used on the field today in every single KVK. So there we go. We're in the orange, pulling away. Almost take it into my main city, which I've done before, and I've killed a load of troops. So I was quite lucky. I realised that and took it away in the end. Yeah, I've made that mistake before, and it hurts. So let's take a look at this. 8.8 to 17.5, pretty much. Okay, that's not too bad. Look at the AoE. It's kind of low. I'd expect Margaret to do more than that like she did before. So let's test it out and see. And we can compare. So I'm hoping Margaret's going to do as well as last time in terms of quite a large amount of damage over a small period of time, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, obviously, these are results of using a really, really cheap gathering set against meta commanders, and it's more than likely you're going to be able to produce something a bit better than that, even if it's just over time. You'll be able to get some of the legendary gear if you're going to work on engineering just on your farms. Just have to do events, and you'll be able to pick up those legendary blueprints and work on that gear, and it'll be much better than this eventually. But this gives you an idea of what it could be like. You should be trading positive. So here Margaret did 7.5k for herself to 16k. And this compares to obviously looking at Cordoba's 8.6k to 17.4k. Again, it looks like Cordoba and Gage and Marder have got the better result here. But again, I'm just going to say that it took 3 minutes 14 seconds for Cordoba and Gage to get that 17.4k, and only 2 minutes 23 seconds again for Margaret to get 16k sevs on the enemy. Now, let me put that into perspective for you. So, I've worked it out that Margaret is doing 112 sevs per second onto the enemy, but Cordoba and Gargemard are only doing 88. So, Margaret and Cordoba are doing a lot more damage in terms of sevs per second to the enemy marches. Yes, you're going to have to refresh her more often, but it's going to be quicker because she's much faster than Garja and Cordoba, or Cordoba and Garja. So just something to bear in mind. Now, if you want to just last longer on the field, then yeah, go for Garja Cordoba at 5511. But the other thing you've got to think about is, are you going to max these commanders after you've got them to 5511? And if you are, then Garja Cordoba is probably a better bet. Unless you're just absolutely obsessed with the mobility of Margaret and Cordoba and the slaying of AoE, then go for those, because Margaret and Cordoba are so fast. You can leave nodes and cities or structures and be so quick on the field with it boosting mark speed. So it will kind of come down to personal preferences, what you want that works for you on your farm or your low investment account. If you're going to max them, or just take them to 5511 and leave it, and that's that. So guys, hope you enjoyed. This was Mr. Siege. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and bye bye.